Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Trek, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today, I'm looking at First Contact from The Next Generation's 4th season, or as I like to call it, that time Riker had one job. This episode was requested by Michael Bauer. Thank you for the suggestion, and let's get going. We begin the episode with someone wheeled into an alien hospital, and while they obscure the patient's face, there's no mistaking that side beard. It's Riker. They doctor around, confused by his anatomy, dramatic zoom, and into the credits we go. Riker wakes up and gives a fake name and address and wants to leave, but the doctors call him out on his bullshit and ask him about his phaser, before leaving him unattended to discuss if he's an alien.
Of all the medical facilities available, why did he have to end up here?
But before they freak everyone out, this guy wants Riker's story checked out. This old folks meeting talking about space travel includes Michael Ensign, who appeared in Voyager, False Prophets, Enterprise, Stigma, and Deep Space Nine, The Forsaken. But a discussion breaks out over whether now is a good time to Star Trek. This lady beep boops until Picard and Troy beam in, freaking the fuck out of her, and they information dump all over her. But she doesn't believe them, so they beam her aboard. Oh sure, take her to the pub. That's a great place to start. She's super excited and says it's been a lifelong dream, and Troy explains to her that they've been getting to know her through her people's broadcasts.
I hate to think how you would judge us based on our popular music and entertainment.
Don't worry, lady. Humans made this. And this.
I am directly below! Enemy scrotum!
Picard tells her they've also had people on the planet for several years. The calls were coming from inside the planet. And she warns not everyone will be as open-minded as she is. Picard mentions Riker, who they've lost track of, and asks for help, which she agrees to, saying they'd better get a wiggle on before someone else finds him. She doesn't want others knowing about him in case they take drastic action. While back at the hospital, everyone is whispering and theorizing about Riker. So the doc goes to see him and challenge him on his bogus story. The doctor straight up asks if he's an alien.
Well, it's far more likely that I am a weather balloon than an alien.
And says he doesn't trust him. Whoops, kinda messing up First Contact there, Riker. The Chancellor doesn't fancy visitors, but tough. Here's Picard, who this lady proudly introduces. Picard takes him on a tour of Enterprise and introduces him to Data, who the lady asks about Riker, but still nothing yet. Picard takes the Chancellor to get sloshed, and they talk about trust, the Prime Directive, and the guy's family, while Riker noses around his room, but gets caught by Bebe Neuwirth, who is probably most famous for being in Cheers, but I know her as Nora Shepherd in Jumanji. He admits to her he's an alien, and she agrees to help.
If you make love to me.
Wait, what? Wait, he actually did it? I don't think you're supposed to put your prime in an alien's directive. And he wanders straight into trouble, which results in a fight, which messes him up good and proper. The Chancellor tells the others about his space visit, but this guy is outraged and wants to use Riker as a hostage. So the lady spills the tea about the other undercover humans, which causes chaos. So Cranky Pants goes to interrogate Riker, but the lady says he should be returned to Enterprise. The Doctor refuses to go along with the guy's plan, and Picard has apparently never heard of knocking, with the Chancellor telling him off and not mentioning Riker. So Picard explains they introduced the surveillance thing after their shitty first contact with the Klingons went tits up. The Chancellor seems to like Picard, but doesn't agree to release Riker yet. And the poor doctor gets fired, so this guy takes over and revives Riker against medical advice, so Glasses McGee can get all up in his business and question him. The lady gets a dressing down from the Chancellor for withholding information, and she tells him the shady guys plan to interrogate Riker, which is not going well for him, or this piece of equipment. He plans to shoot himself with a phaser and blame it on Riker, thus causing a war, and it works, right before some other crew beam in.
I'm a physician, don't be frightened.
I wish I could enter a room that convincingly. Riker and the dude are hauled off to sickbay, where Beverly says they'll both be fine, and dobs the dude in for his sneaky plan. So the Chancellor decides to slow their roll on the space travel idea until their people are all ready for the idea of aliens, and asks Picard to leave. Dude, this is his ship. Picard agrees, but wonders how they'll just gloss over so many people knowing about Riker, but the Chancellor shrugs it off, and the lady asks to go with them, which Picard agrees to. Cool, new travel buddy. Okay, when Michael Bauer requested this episode, they likened it to Who Watches the Watchers, which I covered previously. And I agree, it has a lot of the same components. A human doing surveillance, injured and held by pre-warp aliens, one who is taken aboard the ship to see their planet from above. Picard has to go to the planet to sort things out, and through fear of alien people, someone ends up shot. But I think I prefer Who Watches the Watchers to this one. There's nothing wrong with the episode, but the first half was a lot of talking which didn't hold the same weight as the great conversation between Picard and Nuria in Who Watches the Watchers. And not gonna lie, I have no idea what anyone's names were, which is why I refer to them as this guy and that lady. I mean, some of their names were said a few times, but they weren't super memorable to me. It was an interesting concept, however. I've seen plenty of episodes with the crew observing a pre-warp civilization, trying not to get discovered, like The Communicator, Blink of an Eye, and of course Who Watches the Watchers. And of course, they visit post-warp aliens all the damn time. But I've never seen one where the aliens are developing warp drive and get a visit for the first time, so it was interesting to see the process behind it and how it plays out. I do wonder if they took the rest of the observation team home with them when they left, and I admire the Chancellor for delaying the warp program. We've seen Archer's efforts be hampered by the Vulcans, but it's a different angle for the aliens to want to hold back until their people are ready. I found it really interesting, so good job, episode. So there you have it. That was First Contact. If there's an episode of Star Trek you'd like me to cover, pop it down in the comments below or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be assimilated into my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.